Hello dear friends, you are welcome to my YouTube channel Pharma Learning. Today I Dr. Shamsher Singh going to discuss with you about the next part of GPAT question series, which is a part 17. In this part today again I will discuss with you the basic aspects of pharmacology as well as some of the questions which are very important as per your GPAT examination. So I will discuss the first question with you. Choose the wrong combination of drug and mechanism of action. So the option for this question are rifampicin act by DNA polymerase, bleomycin fragmentation of DNA, mitomycin is alkylating agent, deactinomycin is a RNA polymerase. So you choose the correct answer for this question. So correct mean there will be a wrong combination of drug along with its mechanism. So the right option for this question is rifampicin because it acts through DNA dependent RNA polymerase. So it is a DNA dependent RNA polymerase. So this is the right answer. If there will be option of RNA, DNA dependent RNA polymerase, this is a right option for this question. So the next question for the GPAT series is choose the right combination of drug and its main side effect. So the options are this is a drug sulfonamide, ciprofloxacin, chloramphenicol, amikacin. The options are P cause hemolytic anemia, Q cause ototoxicity, R cause Gray baby syndrome, and S cause vertigo. So the next option is likely P for third, Q cause hemolytic anemia, R cause vertigo, S cause Gray baby syndrome. Likely the third option is this P cause vertigo, Q cause Gray baby syndrome, R cause ototoxicity, S cause hemolytic anemia. So this is a fourth option. P cause hemolytic anemia, Q cause vertigo, R cause Gray baby syndrome, S cause ototoxicity. So you choose the correct answer for this question. The correct answer for this question is P cause hemolytic anemia. So basically sulfonamide they are responsible for anemia. The reason is sulfonamide easily accumulate in the body. Whenever the patient suffer from AKD, acute kidney failure, or having a less GFR, glomerular filtration rate. So the drug concentration of sulfonamide in the blood is increased, which is responsible for the hemolytic anemia. Instead of this, dapsone also cause hemolytic anemia. So this is another option if it will be available. Dapsone is more responsible to cause hemolytic anemia as compared to sulfonamide. The second Q cause, ciprofloxacin cause vertigo because long-term ciprofloxacin intake interfere with the inner fluid movement in the air. So in the air, the inner fluid movement, perilymph and endolymph are there. So this ciprofloxacin interfere with the calcium ion concentration in the perilymph and responsible for vertigo as well as some other problems. Chloramphenicol cause Gray baby syndrome because chloramphenicol reduce the myocardial contractility and reduce the oxygen in the tissue. On the second side, this chloramphenicol replace the hemoglobin with the methemoglobin and cause Gray baby syndrome. The fourth option is amikacin. These are the aminoglycosides. Likely you know that gentamicin and amikacin they are reported to cause ototoxicity and they cause damage to the nerve. So they cause cranial nerve damage. So that is auditory type. So this is the right answer for this question. The third question for this GPAT series is, identify one of the drug that does not interfere with the protein synthesis in bacteria. So the options are S, doxycycline, Q, levofloxacin, PR, clarithromycin, chloramphenicol, and QS, that is levofloxacin and doxycycline. So you choose the correct answer for this question. The correct answer is Q. So you know that levofloxacin do not act by inhibiting this particularly protein synthesis, because this levofloxacin interfere with the DNA. So that's why levofloxacin is a bactericidal drug against gram positive and gram negative bacteria. So this is a right answer for this question. The next question is, choose the wrong combination of drug and main side effect. The options are cisplatin cause nausea and vomiting, trimethoprim cause megablastic anemia, chloramphenicol cause gray baby syndrome, cephalosporin cause ototoxicity. So you have to choose the wrong combination of drug and its side effect. The options are this. You choose the correct option for this question. The correct option is wrong option for this drug and side effect is cephalosporin cause ototoxicity, because these are the right option. These drug cause these type of the side effect, but cephalosporin do not cause ototoxicity. Little bit side effects are there, that are being nausea, vomiting, diarrhea. These are the basic effect, but these are safe drugs. So that's why this is a right option for this question. The next question is, which of the following drug action is decreased by sodium bicarbonate? The options are amoxicillin, methamine, ciprofloxacin, vancomycin. You choose the correct answer for this question. The right answer for this question is methenamine action is decreased by sodium bicarbonate. The reason is, this methenamine whenever enter in the body, it absorb at acidic pH. So whenever you will give a sodium bicarbonate, which is a buffer, it will reduce the pH toward basic side, and it interfere with the action of the methenamine in your body. So this is the right statement, that methenamine absorption is a pH dependent. It absorbs through the acidic environment. So that's why sodium bicarbonate interfere with this. The next question for the GPAT series is, Gray baby syndrome is associated with chloramphenicol, gentamicin, tetracycline, and ciprofloxacin. You choose the right answer. Chloramphenicol is the right answer. The reason is, chloramphenicol cause hypoxia in the tissue, lower the oxygen level in the tissue by reducing the cardiac contractility. The second option I have already discussed, that it replaces the hemoglobin with the methemoglobin, because whenever there will be a low oxygen in your body, the hemoglobin will not carry a sufficient oxygen as per the requirement of your tissues and cell. That's why this is associated with the small babies. So this is a right answer for this question. The next question is, which of the following drug act as a non-selective MAO inhibitor? The options are linezolid, clindamycin, vancomycin, and quinapritin. You choose the correct answer for this question. The correct answer is linezolid. So linezolid is a non-selective MAO inhibitor. You know that it is an antipsychotic agent which was used, but it inhibits the MAO enzyme. So linezolid is also contraindicated along with selective serotonin reuptake inhibitor. So never be give the serotonin supplement with the linezolid because of their contraindication. So that's why this is a right answer for this question. The next question for this series is, the breakdown of imipinam is prevented by concomitant administration of following. The options are vancomycin, cilastatin, entacapone, and penicillin. You choose the correct answer, that we give combination of imipinam with which. The right answer is cilastatin along with imipinam. They are co-administered to prevent the imipinam breakdown, because whenever you will give imipinam is degraded in our body by dihydropeptidases. So there are some enzymes which are called as a dihydropeptidase, which are present in our body. They are responsible for degradation of imipinam and reduce its effect, its activity on various, you can say, bacteria or some other. And that's why the combination of imipinam along with cilastatin is administered. This cilastatin increase the T half and bioavailability of the imipinam in the body. The next question for this series is, select one of the glycopeptide antibiotic from the following. The options are azithromycin, tobramycin, telvencin, and vancomycin. The correct option for this question you can choose very fast, or you can comment in the box. The correct option is vancomycin is a glycopeptide antibiotic. So this glycopeptide is a ring which is present in the structure of vancomycin. This vancomycin is useful, for the gram positive more and very less for the gram negative. And that's why this vancomycin is a glycopeptide type of antibiotic. The next question for this option is, the most common pathological microorganism for the urinary tract infection is. Options are E. coli, Escherichia coli, H. pylori, Helicobacter pylori, Pseudomonas aeruginosa, and Bacillus subtilis. You choose the correct answer. The correct answer for this question is Escherichia coli, E. coli. So E. coli is found to be one of the microorganism which cause urinary tract infection, and sometimes it cause lower intestinal infection. So this E. coli is a gram-negative type of bacteria which is responsible for these type of the infection in the body. So you should always subscribe and like this Pharma Learning channel. The next question is, dash 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 is a smooth muscle laxant which is used for the treatment of hypertension. The options are physostigmine, pilocarpine, paralidoxime, and papaverine. You choose the correct answer for this. The correct answer is papaverine is a smooth muscle laxant for the treatment of hypertension. So papaverine, which is a opioid type of compound, the papaverine which act on the smooth muscle and cause its relaxation by increasing CAMP level and increase the entry of calcium toward endoplasmic reticulum. So lower down the intracellular calcium. So if calcium will not be available, then the calcium along with the calmodulin will not be able to cause muscle contraction. So that's why papaverine is used as a smooth muscle laxant and it is used as an antihypertensive. The next question for this GPAT series is, which of the following is a calcium channel blocker? The options are clonidine, losartan, acebutolol, and amlodipine. You choose the correct answer for this question. The correct answer is amlodipine. So amlodipine, which is a calcium channel blocker, and this amlodipine, which is a very safe calcium channel blocker with a T half that is approximate 40 to 45 hours, and this amlodipine inhibit calcium channel in the arteries and inhibit the contraction of arterial muscles, thereby reduce the, you can say, excessive afterload over the heart. So that means this amlodipine, which is a calcium channel blocker, always used mostly at a dose of 50 mg along in combination with 5 mg of atenolol. So these both are antihypertensive. This is a beta blocker and this is a calcium channel blocker. So the dose ratio is 50 mg and 5 mg as a antihypertensive drug. Next question is, which antihypertensive drug inhibits the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system? So you firstly should know that renin is released from the Golgi cell of kidney, which is called as renin, because renin is an enzyme for the calcium, so for the milk absorption. This renin responsible for RAS, renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. So options are propranolol, methyl-dopa, reserpine and enalapril. You choose the correct answer for this question. The correct answer is enalapril. Antihypertensive drug inhibits the renin-angiotensin-aldosterone system. So this enalapril is used as a antihypertensive drug. So basically this is preferable drug nowadays as antihypertensive. The next question for this GPAT series in the Pharma Learning channel is, sublingual nitroglycerin tablet has duration of action. The options are 3 to 5 minutes, 1.5 to 7.5 minutes, 1 to 2 hours and 8 to 10 hours. You choose the correct answer. The correct answer is 1.5 to 7.5 minutes. So what is the, you can say, this is used as a nitroglycerin for the angina, and it act by releasing the nitric oxide. So this nitric oxide inhibit CGMP and thereby responsible for relaxation of smooth muscles. So this nitroglycerin is very useful drug and a drug of emergency for the angina. So this GPAT option could be here. Nitroglycerin is a one of the drug. So this is option can be there as a emergency drug and drug of choice for the angina patient. The next question for the GPAT series is, which angiotensin 2 receptor blocker is used in hypertension? The options are valsartan, amlodipine, atenolol and enalapril. You choose the correct answer for this question. Angiotensin 2 receptor blocker, the answer is valsartan, candesartan, irbesartan. These are the sartan derivatives. These sartan derivatives are angiotensin 2 receptor blocker. They are useful drug, and if the option will be which one of the first choice for the hypertension, nowadays valsartan, irbesartan, candesartan are the first choice of drug for hypertension because they are receptor blocker. The next question for the GPAT series is, furosemide is an example of potassium sparing diuretic, carbonic anhydrase inhibitor, thiazide diuretic and loop diuretic. You choose the correct answer. Furosemide is a loop diuretic. So the option could be furosemide, which is called as a Lasix. It is called as a Lasix. Brand name is Lasix because its action lasts for 6 hours. So 6 is here, Lasix. The second thing, it is a loop diuretic because it acts on the loop of Henle part of your nephron. So that's why this is a right answer for this question. The next question is, identify the mechanism of action of terazosin. Options are inhibition of angiotensin converting enzyme, blockage of beta adrenoreceptor, blockage of alpha 1 adrenoreceptor, and blockage of H1 receptor. You choose the correct answer. The correct answer is blockage of alpha 1 adrenoreceptor. So there could be another option for you, that is trazodone, and trazodone are the alpha 1 blocker, and they cause postural hypotension, which is called as a orthostatic hypotension. So this can be another option in the GPAT, that what type of drug or which receptor blockers are responsible for orthostatic hypotension, that are called as prazosin and trazodone, which are alpha blocker. The second option, third option can be in the GPAT, which drug produce a first dose effect in the body. So this prazosin was the original drug of trazodone. Prazosin is known to cause, and trazodone known to cause first dose effect in the body. That means first dose means the first dose which can immediately cause hypotension. So this is the third option for this drug. The next option for this GPAT series is, digitalis toxicity is enhanced by co-administration of which of following? Quinidine, potassium, calcium, and diuretic. You choose the correct answer. The correct answer is quinidine cause digitalis toxicity. The reason is quinidine reduce the glomerular filtration rate of digitalis, digoxin. So if you will administer quinidine along with digitalis, the digitalis, digoxin, digitaloxin, they can be accumulated in your body, in your blood, because quinidine reduce glomerular filtration rate. This is a right answer. The second last question of this series is, clonidine exert its hypotension effect by acting on H2 receptor, alpha 2 receptor, alpha 1 receptor, and H2 receptor. You choose the correct answer. The correct answer is alpha 2 receptor. So alpha 2 receptor are the receptor which are present on the preganglionic part. Alpha 2, this is present on the preganglia. This is a postganglia. So they are called as a centrally acting drug. So clonidine act on the alpha 2 receptor. The second option is alpha 2 receptor is a autoreceptor. So this is a right answer for this question. The last question of this GPAT series is, digitalis glycoside are used in congestive heart failure as they increase the force of myocardial contraction, cardiac filling pressure, heart rate, and venous pressure. You choose the correct answer. The correct answer is force of myocardial contraction. So digitalis increase force but not the rate. So that means force indicate that it strengthens the muscle. So that's why this is a right answer for this question. So this was the last question I have discussed with you. So you all are welcome to our Pharma Learning channel. You must like, subscribe, and watch all these videos, which will be very useful for your GPAT exam. And in the coming sections, I will discuss with you about other questions from the different subjects of pharmaceutical sciences, which will be useful for you all. Thank you for watching and subscribing. You are welcome.